Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk through how I've completed this underwater seal with colour pencils. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Lisa, I'm a colour pencil artist, a mum, and I make realistic wildlife tutorials over on Patreon. In the description below will be links to my Patreon and website where there's over 70 different colour pencil tutorials. So let's get started with the underwater seal. So I always start my animal pieces by working on the eye. It's just a really good place to build on from, and it gives it a little bit of character to start with. This eye is really dark, so I went in with a black pencil and just blacked in where we can see all of the darker sections. Went in with some of the cold grey one where we needed to, added in a little bit of the blue tone, and then you go back over darker with your black pencil. I also did put in a little bit of the soft white Holbein pencil. This just helps keep that little waxy highlight in the center of the eye. To complete the nose, we do exactly the same thing, going in with that dark outline, building up some of the cold grey 1, the cold grey 3, also adding in a bit of the burnt ochre where you can see that brown tone. Going over with some of the white pencil will help to blend it down and also bring out that opaque sort of colour. And then going in with the sandpaper sharpener just to get a really sharp point, and then you can go do all those little final details at the end of the nose. So now we've got the main features in, we can start to do some of the fur around the face. So before I went in and put any colour down, I did use an embossing tool to put in a couple of those whiskers you can sort of see near the eye. So make sure to do this if any of the whiskers are overlapping the fur. So to build up this sort of tone, I went in with some of the cold greys, also started using some of the light phthalo blue, light cobalt turquoise, cobalt green. Adding all of those blues and greens in there really helps to give it that shine that he is sort of underwater. And then you just need to pay attention to your reference photo where you can see all of the darker sections and keeping those highlights and lighter sections nice and bright by adding some of that blue tone. And when we're going through and putting in this blue color, you're just sort of holding your pencil really lightly on the side and shading it down really gently. You don't want to go in with a hard pressure. You don't want it to look bright blue. You just want it to look like he has a hint of blue in him. So for this one, you really need to pay attention to where you can see all of the whiskers before you put in any color on each section. So for this section, I went through with the embossing tool, put down a couple of those little lines and whiskers that you can see, and then just going over really carefully with the base layers, building up with the dark sepia and the black. So now it's time to put in the whiskers on the right side of the face. And for those of you who aren't aware of what a embossing tool is, some people call it a stylus. It's just a hard metal object. It's used for clay making, but for drawing we use it for whiskers and white lines that we want to preserve throughout the piece. There's a sharp pointed tip and there's also a ballpoint side. So if we have a closer look on an angle, you can see that the embossing tool is just indenting the paper where we're putting the lines. So when you're doing your first strokes and whiskers, you want to make sure you're going in really confidently, putting them down in one fluid motion, and you want to push hard enough that you're indenting the paper, but not too hard that you're really pushing it down. And the way I complete them is just to use my kneaded eraser to erase one line, put that in with the stylus, erase another line, and then put that in. It just makes it so it's not so confusing and you remember where all of the lines are. And then when you're going through and putting your color pencil over these embossed lines, you just want to make sure you're going in with a really light pressure, holding your pencil on the side so it's nice and flat against the paper, not up and down so that it's going into all of those lines that you've just put in. Then you can just really gently go around them or really gently just glaze over them. Starting to go in with some of the burnt ochre, cold grey 3, adding in some of the blue tones, and where we need to get all of those little details with the black, just going in really gently, really precise around all of these whiskers. So this texture does take a little while because you're trying to be careful to go in between all of the whiskers and preserve those white whiskers. So all of the fur on the neck and the body, we need to make sure that we're not going into those lines that we've already put down. We're still doing the same sort of layering process with the light tones, building the colors and then getting darker with the darker tones. The way I found the best not to get the pencil into the whiskers is to go in the direction of the whiskers when you're glazing over it. If you just shade across them and you're bumping over them, some of the pencil will get in, but if you go in the direction with the whisker, you'll find that the pencil just sort of goes around the embossed line that you've put down. Alright, so water, not the easiest thing to be putting in, so I am really new to putting this sort of texture, so what I did was use just the top hand left section, just did a really little bit to see how I felt. think about the layering process, the colors I want to use, how I'm going to go around these bubbles and sort of make them realistic. So always take your time when you're starting pieces like this or things that you're not sure of. Have a little practice and build your way up to being able to complete something like this. Everything takes practice, it takes time and experimenting, but I'm going to explain what worked for me personally the best. So we're still working up from light to dark with this sort of section, and what I did was go through with the cold grey one and just outline where I can see those white bubbles so that we don't go into them. I started to put in some of my white Holbein pencil into these just to help keep them nice and bright in case I did get some colour in them. Started to go in with some of the light cobalt turquoise and just start to outline some of these bubbles. Starting to build in some of the light phthalo blue to get a little bit darker, and then in the middle I used some of the Prussian blue. It's hard to see at this point when you're completing such a small section if it's working or how you're going to feel about it later, so it is just important to keep going. If you complete one little section and think it's not working, I'm going to throw it away, then you never know what it's going to become. So make sure to keep pushing through, especially when there's an ugly stage, because in colour pencil there's always an ugly stage. It looks awful until you keep on going and then it all sort of comes together. But if you feel like the explanation of this is going a little bit too fast and not enough detail for you, remember this is a full real-time tutorial over on my Patreon. You get given the reference photo, line art, material list and full step-by-step real-time instructions on how to complete this one all by yourself. All the information is in the description below. So when you are putting in the water and all of the shapes, you just need to pay attention to your reference photo and make sure you're really putting everything in the right place. This is why it's good to have a really good outline so you know exactly sort of where everything is, and then you can start to map it in really lightly and gradually get darker when you're happy with the placement and the movement of the water. So remember, water is one motion and it will like move up and down, but you need to make sure the lines are all flowing into each other. You can't sort of have one wave in one section and then another wave going the other way or anything like that, because it's not going to make sense. So you need to make sure that you're being really specific of where you're putting all of these different shapes, and paying attention to your reference photo. Having a really good outline is a great way to do this. Another thing that's really important with doing water and shapes like this is getting all of the tones correct. So even if you have a different shade of blue, or the blue doesn't look exactly the same as what it does in the reference photo, that's not going to matter. The main thing that's going to matter is all of the lighter and darker areas. A good way to evaluate this is once you're sort of all the way through or nearly finished, you can put your image into black and white on the computer and then cross-reference that with the reference photo in black and white to see where the lights and darks are and where you may need to push the shadows more, or you may need to slice some of the colour back up to make it lighter. And then once I'd finished everything, I sort of realised that my paper wasn't blending as smooth as what I wanted it to. So as an extra measure, I went through with some of my Zest It pencil solvent just to blend down all of the colour and make it smoother. I also then had to go in with my white pencil, put a couple of those little white whiskers in, and then go back with a really sharp black pencil to put all of those black whiskers in. This bit is a bit nerve-wracking because if you make a mistake, there's no getting it up pretty much. You can't really erase this sort of thing. So you just need to make sure that you're sort of practicing the hand movements before you do them, making sure you're really purposeful of where you're putting these strokes. You can go in and sort of thicken up the base of them so that they sort of taper out at the end. Making sure to have a really sharp pencil, so I really recommend using a sanding block because they get the sharpest points, which is really great for this sort of whisker section. And then once everything is in, I leave it for a day or two, come back with some fresh eyes, and then can make some changes. Like I said before, making sure you're getting the darkest sections the darkest and really trying to highlight those light sections. I really hope that you like this video, guys. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.